I am a huge fan of the almighty knife. Some would say, mainly my wife, that I have a bit of a knife problem. Now, we're not talking Charlie Sheen levels of addiction to knife buying, but I definitely have a hard time passing up a sweet blade. I have beater knives, fancy knives, manual knives, automatic knives, knives for bushcrafting, knives that should be really called a damn sword, blacked out knives, big knives, small knives, fidgety knives, knives that seem like magic because the blade is so fast it just seems to appear and disappear. I mean, seriously, OTFs, they're just the most fun. I mean, it's like magic. I'm sorry for you people that live in areas that you can't get them because they're just the most fun knives in the world. It's like a magic trick. Blade, go on. I've carried at least one knife on me every day for as long as I can remember. A lot of times I'll have a setup where it's like a main knife, an EDC knife that is like the main blade that I use for most of the stuff throughout the day, opening boxes, cutting stuff, food, whatever. And then I will have a multi-tool in a different pocket, which is for other things, but it does have a blade on it. Other times, maybe, I'll have my main blade, and then I'll have a blade that is just designated solely for defensive purposes, emergency case situation. Not my first line of defense. Hopefully you don't get into a situation where you need it. You'd rather have it, not need it, than need it, not have it, that whole thing. So sometimes secondary blade is a defensive blade. In the past though, I'd have mostly stuck to folder style knives for everyday carry. While I absolutely love fixed blade knives, I've always felt they were a little bulky, a little bit overkill, honestly, for daily carry. But lately, I've stumbled on this new category of fixed blade, or at least it's new to me. It seems to be more popular lately, so you hear more about it. And that is the everyday carry or even pocket carry fixed blade. And that kind of changed the way I thought about everything. So today we're going to talk about why, after many years of being team folder, I've kind of changed my thinking and maybe a fixed blade as a daily carry can be as good or even better sometime. And then I'm going to give you some examples of some of the knives that I've been enjoying carrying on a daily basis. But before we get going, I do want to take a second to welcome some of the new sponsors to the channel we brought on this year. And before you go and you skip, because I know you guys do this with ads, you skip, but don't. Stand by to stand by, because I think you're going to be excited about these guys. Both the guys coming on board are companies that a huge portion of my audience are big fans of. They are also just great people making cool shit. First, we have Knafs. Many of you know Ben, co-founder of Knafs. He is a beloved OG member of the knife community. They make some of the best knives out there, especially for the price. The very popular Lander series, which has multiple sizes, blade shapes, scale options, and then of course, that buttery smooth ball bearing with that clutch lock. I mean, come on. They also have endless options of customization with thumb studs, scales, clips, like a big kids erector set. Some pretty damn sweet fixed blades if I don't say so myself. We'll be going over those a little more later when we get into some examples. They also do weekly giveaways of knives if you're signed up for their newsletter. So you have a chance to win a knife every single week as long as you're signed up, which is pretty cool. I'll drop some links down below for their newsletter and their website. Definitely go check those guys out. We also brought on my good friends at Big Idea Design. I can't figure out why the hell we haven't done this before. I love those guys. I've worked with them for years. They're basically cool shit EDC wizards. One might say they're bussin'. Okay, that hurt a little bit. Nobody my age should honestly be saying bussin', but I like to do it occasionally just to make my kids cringe. I mean, they melt when I say shit like that. Big Eye makes great pens, knives, watches, pocket tools, backpacks, pretty much EDC one-stop shop. They're actually running a Kickstarter right now for their new baseline capped. Basically, the base, that's just way too many bases. The baseline series is their most affordable line of pens, still CNC machine, same quality as all their stuff, just a bit more based. Has a Schneider gel refillable, if I'm not mistaken. Also very much so compatible with Parker style refills. Possibly the most satisfying cap in the game. I don't have one yet, which Brantley, seriously, we need to correct that if you're watching this, but the same basic cap, hold on. The same basic cap is their Fountain EDC, which, I mean, hold on, let's see if you can hear. I'll get it close to the mic. It's so fucking good. I don't know what it is, but it's just one of those things that is really satisfying. I'll link the Kickstarter down below, also with their site. Go give those guys some love. Super stoked about having both of these guys on board this year. Big thanks to both of them for supporting the channel. So the main advantage in my eyes of a fixed blade knife is the strength and durability. They're also just badass, let's be honest, but that's maybe just my opinion. Badassery is a bit hard to quantify. Being that they are a single slab of steel though, it's kind of hard to argue that they're not more durable with less pieces to gum up, wear out, and break. There's no worry with the fixed blade of the lock failing and then the blade collapsing on your fingers, making your new nickname Stumpy. If you use these guys for food prep, it's much easier to clean a fixed blade. You don't have to worry about the juice from that apple you're peeling or cutting up your steak, getting down in the action and stuff, and then next time you use it to cut something, it gives you butt pee because you get like salmonella or some crazy.
My apologies.
And one could argue they're quicker and easier to deploy, especially with one hand. You just kind of grab it, pull it out, it's ready to rip. No fumbling with thumb studs or even a button if you've got an auto. The same with putting it back away. You just slide it back into the sheath, no locks to fiddle with, possibly catching your finger if you're not paying attention. I know some of you are gonna argue,
well, with the folder, like an Emerson opener, opens as you draw it out of your pocket. Man, I could deploy my knife with one hand in 0.003 seconds. I timed myself 16 times yesterday.
Okay, I got you, Edward Scissorhands. I'm not saying folders can't be deployed fast and easy with just one hand. I'm saying pulling a fixed blade is usually faster and easier for most people. The downside to a fixed blade for me historically has only been that folders are more compact and easier to stick in a pocket. There is also the fidget factor thing, which that's a real thing. Some folders are hella fun to play with. But the main thing holding me back for years was just the convenience factor. It's not always convenient to rock a full-size fixed blade or a belt knife. There are also some legal restrictions in some areas with fixed blades, and I'm super sorry for you people that live in places like that. My suggestions, move your ass out and go somewhere that's free, but that's just an opinion of one Florida man, and you guys think we like walk alligators down here, so you know, whatever. When I first found the world of the pocket fixed blade, I will admit I didn't think it made a lot of sense. Thought, man, there's no way that could be comfortable having a fixed blade in my pocket. But then I got that big eye lookout. Let's just say it changed my opinion faster than panties drop on prom night. I also do still belt carry fixed blades occasionally, but that's for the slightly larger blades, and that's normally in the colder months when I'm wearing heavier clothes and I know I'm gonna go somewhere like in the woods camping or something where I may need something a little larger. But for everyday, day-to-day, the pocket fixed blade has been my new go-to. They're just about as easy to carry in your pocket as a folder, more capable in a lot of ways, more durable, easier to snatch out of your pocket when you need it. All in all, I'm a fan. All right, back at the desk, shitload of knives, got some caffeine, let's get a little nicotine. Let's talk about some knife options. Some of what I've been carrying for the last 6-8 months, year. These are by no means the only ones out there. I'm not trying to sell you guys on any of these. Before you start your shit talking, always trying to sell, just relax. These are just some of the fixed blades that I personally have carried regularly to give you guys some ideas. Try to get a pretty decent selection of styles, use cases, prices. We have knives on here as low as about 65 bucks and as expensive as about 350. But definitely look around at all of the options. There are tons of great knives out there depending on your preferences, your budget, what you intend to use them for, your damn hand size, etc., etc. The smallest of the bunch, and also really only one that is real purpose is self-defense. This is the ShivWorks Clinch Pick 2.0. This specific model is a Warrior Poet Society collab I picked up. It can definitely flex into daily tasks like getting those Amazon boxes open, cutting ropes, etc., but really designed with personal defense, self-defense in mind. Very minimal Kydex sheath. Did you hear that? Really good retention on this guy. You can carry it multiple ways, whether it's with the strap that comes on there, which is intended to kind of do like a reverse scalp carry kind of thing. But you could also slap an ulti clip on here, a belt clip. You could carry it in your pocket. This thing is tiny, so it basically could fit anywhere.
That's what she said?
Oh, this is gonna be a long one. You got a 2 5/8 PVD coated Sandvik 12C27 think I said that right, blade, textured G10 scales on this guy, about 5.5 inches in total length. Kind of an interesting design because the cutting edge here is on the back side of what you would think it is with a knife. We don't have time to go into this video. If you want to know why that is, look up Clinch Pick on the internet. There's lots of cool videos explaining why it's designed that way, but it is designed solely for close quarters combat self-defense type situation. Really very cool, capable little tool. Next up, slightly larger, but definitely still small, compact little fixie. The knife that got me into the whole pocket carry game, the big idea lookout, or Outlook as I call it all the time by accident, because apparently, even though I haven't used Microsoft products in years, I don't know what the hell's going on with me, but yes, the lookout is what it's called. Honestly, smaller than I would normally be drawn to, but it turns out sometimes good things come in small packages, or at least that's what my wife tells me. For pocket carry, it is fantastic and surprisingly capable. When I first got this guy, it did not leave my pocket for the better part of 6 months. They did a really good job on this Kydex sheath because it's about as minimal as you can make it with this taco design, so it doesn't take up a lot of pocket space. Great retention, hear that? And it's kind of got this flared edge, which makes it easier to slide this guy in and out than a hooker on payday. So really did a good job on the sheath. The pocket clip is titanium, has really good hold. Honestly, probably too good a hold sometimes. You don't ever have to worry about it coming out of your pocket, that's for sure. When this thing's clipped in, it's definitely not coming out when you draw the knife. Not a huge thing. I'd rather it hold more than it should than fly out, but definitely a super grippy clip. My favorite clip on anything is the Ulti clip. I like it. It's super easy to get in and out, but it clamps down and really holds it when you need to and lets go when you don't. But nevertheless, this one is still a really nice clip. 2.6 inch M390 blade on this one, titanium scales. Feels really good in the hand even though it is on the smaller side.
That's what she said. That's what she said. That's what she said.
Good one.
Oh boy, there's gonna be a lot of these in this video, I think. Intended for sure for pocket carry, but you could probably rig something up with the other grommets on here and belt carry it or some other kind of carry if that's your jam. Great little knife. You can see all the scuff marks on mine right here at the top for me sheathing and unsheathing it hundreds of times. I've put this thing through hell and it still works and looks great. Next up, and just a touch larger, I'm going from smallest to largest if you haven't figured that out yet. Knafs Lander 4. You will see a pattern here with these Kydex sheaths. Kydex is a very durable sheath material, lots of versatility because clips can move all around on these grommets if it's built correctly. Really great retention on most of these Kydex sheaths. They also don't absorb water and moisture the way leather can. You know your boy loves leather. I am a sucker for a good patinaed leather. I find more often than not, I lean Kydex on these kind of things. I'm still looking for the perfect leather sheath. Haven't found it yet. With the Lander, you get a nice Kydex sheath with lots of clips options. Comes with the scout carry option, but you can slap an Ulti clip on it as I have here. Tons of different scale options, handle materials. You got burlap micarta, canvas micarta, Ultim rich light, all kinds of scales. I forgot what this one was called, but this is the other one. You got two different blade shapes and two different steels. This is a drop point, this is a sheep's foot. Just really nice, compact little knives for pocket carry. 2.6 inch blades, 5.9 total length, which means again, very easy for pocket carry. Something they did really well on this though, with a lot of smaller knives, you often end up with a situation where your pinky is just has a bad case of FOMO. It's just kind of hanging out here, trying to find a home, which can lead to not having a great grip on the knife. But the clever little knife goblins over at Knafs, they put this little brass cone-shaped bead on here on a lanyard. When you grip it, it nuzzles in your pinky in just the most perfect way to give your pinky a good grip and help you really have good retention and grip on that knife. A really clever way to fix a problem that a lot of smaller knives have. Also, out of all the knives we're talking about today, probably this one specifically, the least stabby looking of all the knives. So if you're in an area where people get sketched out if you pull out a fixed blade, I mean, who could get nervous around this little cute guy? I mean, come on, that doesn't look scary at all. Really nice EDC blades. Next, this one just slightly larger on the blade at 3 inches, but it is the first one that is big enough for me to get a full grip, full handful.
That's what she said. Oh, no, not that
Just come on, you guys, let's do it.
Sorry, I can't stop. I can't. 7 inches overall. This is the White River Model 1. This one you can get in S35VN, PVD, coated, or tumbled. You can also, for a very affordable and small upcharge, get this in MagnaCut. Lots of handle options with different colors of G10 and micarta. Nice Kydex sheath. At this point, I feel like we're being a little redundant with the sheaths. I mean, Kydex sheaths are great, lots of options, belt carry, pocket carry. I mean, Kydex sheaths are like the Swiss Army knife of sheaths, right? You can do a lot of things with them. I normally, as you could tell, I have a belt clip on it. I normally do carry this with my belt, but you could easily, with the size of this, pocket carry it. The retention on this one is not quite as good as some of the others. I mean, you don't get that, listen, see, it's not, you don't really get that satisfying click with this one, but it still works great. I've carried this thing for a long time, a lot of different environments, situations, running around, and I've never had an issue with it coming out. I mean, it ain't coming out of there. It just doesn't have that satisfying click. Where this knife really excels though is how great it feels in your hand.
That's what she said. Don't you dare.
Okay, I'm really gonna try to stop. I'll tell the editor, which is me. Enough is enough. This finger notch or choil right here, whatever you want to call this, it's just chef's kiss. It really does just melt into your hand and locks in. They even had the detail, attention to detail to contour the edge right here and really round and bevel all this part off that your hand's on so that when you're using it, it doesn't catch or rub. Ergonomically, one of my favorite knives. I'm a very large fan of this knife. I have carried it a ton. Also, made right here in the good old US of A, which is always a positive thing. Great multi-purpose EDC blade. Next up, and going up again in size, this is probably the largest one that I would consider pocket carry. And it happens to be made by yours truly. You guys didn't really think I was gonna do a fixed blade video and not pimp out my own stuff a little, did you? I mean, come on. We will go over it quickly though, because there is a limit to my self-promotion. I do have limits to how far I'll whore myself out. This is the new fixed blade that we just dropped last week, the Deano. Obviously, I'm a huge fan. I helped design the damn thing. I wanted to make a fixed blade knife that was just big enough you could still pocket carry it, a good EDC pocket carryable knife, but on the larger side, so it was a touch more capable and better for guys with larger hands. Some of you big boys out there have big ass hands and you have a hard time with some of these smaller knives with compact design. Cerakoted and tumbled 3.125 Nitro V steel. Total length is 7.5. 2 different micarta scale options. You got a black and a green. Really nice belly on a slight draw point. Really nice ergonomic handle on it. You can tell by how much I raved about the White Mountain that ergos are important to me on a knife. Very important. Kydex sheath also comes with 2 different types of straps. You've got a belt carry for like a scout carry type thing, and we send it with an Alti clip, so if that's your kind of thing, and also made right here in the good old US of A. I have been pocket carrying this particular knife for months now as we went through different designs, tweaked things to get this just perfect. And I know I am like more than super biased because it's my knife, but we're super proud of how this thing turned out. And this is a really badass, capable EDC fixie meant for hard use. Definitely worth checking out. Okay, last but certainly not least, and this one, unless you are just a very large human being, I would say is more of a belt carry. I EDC this thing for quite a while, still do occasionally, but I do think this works much better as a belt knife than a pocket carry, unless you're like Brian Shaw. But it is probably close to as large as I would consider for EDC purposes. Still pretty much disappears under a thin t-shirt. I've had this guy on the channel a few times because it is just, I mean, it's just kind of badass. It's a nice piece to have in your collection. The Blue Ridge Hunter by Winkler Knives. 4-inch blackened 80 CRV2 blade, 8 inches overall with this carved maple scales with these tribal designs. You can get it in a bunch of different options, but that's the one I went with. I think it looks sweet. This is another one that, because of these ramps on either side of the blade right here, it really locks in very nicely on the hand. Instead of just normal jimping like you would have on a knife, they have actual file work in here that just looks super nice. Really nice belly on the knife with a very cool blade shape. Winkler does some cool shit, and this is a good example of that Winkler goodness. Also a really cool sheath design. They do something with leather hybrid thing that I've never seen other companies do this, and I think it's really nice. It's leather on the outside, so you get that nice softness of the leather and the look of leather, which looks nice, but there's an inner lining of like Kydex or some kind of plastic that really helps a lot with the retention, and then there's a soft material lining inside of that, so your knife doesn't scuff from taking it in and out, and it's also quiet. Sometimes you need to be quiet when you're pulling a knife, I'm just saying. Just a badass knife. Those are some of the knives that I've been carrying lately, and I think they're great. But again, these are just suggestions, just a starting point into your fixed blade journey. There's tons of great shit out there. Definitely go check some stuff out, do some research, watch some other videos, depending on your budget, what you're looking for, stuff like that. And look, your boy still loves folders. I'm not gonna stop carrying folders. I'm not suggesting that you throw all your folders out and go to fixed blades. I'm just saying, in the past, I only really considered folders as an EDC option. And with some of the stuff they have out today, I think fixed blades can be just as good, if not better, than a folder, depending on what's going on. And if you're like me, you like to switch things up. I'll carry a folder for a little while, then I'll carry a fixed blade. Sometimes I carry one of each. You know, it's good to have options. That's gonna wrap this one up. I think we covered everything. Hope you guys did enjoy this, got some good information out of it. If you did, feel free to smash that like button. That always helps everybody out. Helps everybody. Doesn't help, it helps me out. Doesn't, what the hell am I saying? If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. We'd love to have you on board. Hope everybody's having a fantastic week, and we will see you in the next video. I think we're finally gonna get some pew pew content. Can you see it? Is it on that guy, right? There. I think we're gonna do a build out with Ranger Point Precision and fully on tactical pimp out John Wickify that 4570. I think I'm even gonna get Taylor and my man Brandon from BattleBox involved. I'm for sure gonna build that out, but we might also get some other folks involved. Could be fun. If you're into pew pews, good things coming.